Can you hear me? Good, because I know it's really hard to pay attention or to focus or to want to stay if you can't hear what people are trying to say. My name is Edith Bloom. I am an attorney. Unlike the brilliant Andrew Free, I am not an immigration attorney. I'm not standing here because I have special knowledge of the ins and outs and the way that the system is being destroyed, at least not the extent that he does. I am standing here because exactly 1 year ago this week, I spent the most rewarding and difficult week of my life, and certainly of my professional career, in Dilley, Texas, which is the home of what was then, may still be, but I doubt it, the largest family residential center, by which I mean it's a jail for families, in the United States. It is run by CoreCivic. Yes, that's the right answer. But I want to point out that the reason that I went last year this week was because we were this mad then. We were this angry and this frustrated with our fascist government a year ago. So I want to remind you, because I'm mad at myself and I'm mad at all of you, because we dropped the ball, okay? I would love to tell you about the amazing, resilient women and their children that I met last year. And I actually made some videos at the time, and I've talked to Tara, and I'm going to be posting those on the event page so you can see more about them, because it really is about them. But what I want to say tonight is last year, at this time, we had heard about the detention center in McAllen, Texas, that the detainees there are referred to as the dog pound. It is where we first saw pictures of children and parents in cages. Last summer, we knew that families were being separated. Last summer, we knew about a detention facility in Laredo, Texas, that the people who got out referred to as the icebox, not because of immigration customs enforcement, but because it is intentionally kept subhumanly cold to torture the people who are taken there. Last year, we knew about sadistic guards. I heard from the women I met about people who had taunted them while they were begging for food and blankets for their children. I learned that when you cross the border, you are to have everything you brought with you on your back from El Salvador taken away. All of your clothing, all of your children's toys, any mementos, heirlooms, Bibles, because, and I quote a mother who told me what the guard told her, what the Border Patrol agent told her, "You won't need those where you're going." I heard over and over that these families were lied to by the first American officials they encountered, and were told that this country is full, that we do not extend asylum anymore. We read, all of us, not just me, because it was in the media for a brief shining moment last summer, that there were allegations that children in these detention centers were being drugged so that they would be compliant. We heard then, as we hear now, horrible stories of physical and sexual abuse of children and young women in these facilities. We shone a light on the problem for a few weeks, and President Trump told us he was backing down and told us that he was putting an end to family separation. And we believed him because we wanted to believe him. We stopped paying attention to our border. And now here we are. I get it. I really do. I want you all to remember the first months of this regime. I want you to remember how often you went to protests. I want you to remember that you called your senators and you called your congressmen every day. I want you to remember that we flooded the airports in this country when Trump first tried to impose a Muslim ban. But they waited us out, and they tried again, and then they tried again and again, and now we have a Muslim ban. They kept grinding us down, and Congress never seemed to listen. And the news and the scandals and the outrages kept building up. And sometimes it felt like a struggle just to pass a TV with the news on. I get it. I know. I've done the same thing. Sometimes, like last summer, a story is so horrible that it breaks through. But by then, the norms and the standards are already so terribly altered. Last summer, we were outraged to hear that children had been separated. But this summer, we just really want them to have soap. This summer, we're arguing semantics about when a concentration camp is a concentration camp. And this summer, Congress has just awarded almost $5 billion and more money for private prisons, so as a solution to the overcrowding. We don't need soap and bigger cages. Those are not the answers to sadistic crimes against humanity. Asylum seekers have done nothing wrong, and they should not be being held at all. Migrants who are not claiming asylum, but simply want to make a better life. People who have crossed without the proper documents have broken a misdemeanor law and should not be held indefinitely. And I just want to say very quickly, it is definitely a measure of this administration's evil that they are subjecting children to this. But they are also subjecting elderly people to this. They are also subjecting disabled people to this. They are also subjecting families to this. And finally, yes, they are subjecting able-bodied men to this, but those able-bodied men deserve our sympathy and our energy and our fight. We can't just focus on the cute babies. It is hard to engage and keep engaging, but we have to this time. These people have been through a violence and terror beyond our white suburban comprehension. Surely you have the strength, I have the strength to risk myself a little and fight towards ending these camps. Now, we may never change Marsha Blackburn's money. We may never change Marsha Blackburn's mind. I must have said that because Marsha Blackburn, your senator, received more campaign contributions from Ford Civic than any other candidate last year. We're not going to change her mind. We're not going to make any progress with logic, and we are certainly not going to appeal successfully to their compassion. But I'm telling you this, maybe, just maybe, we can wear them down. little pamphlet, the little slip of paper that told you about further actions to take. That's a place to start. But shut this down. Protest, scream, call, write, close the streets to the detention centers. Never, ever let the monsters who back this horrible system have a moment's peace. Maybe we won't win, but resistance is never futile. Fighting for justice is never pointless. Love and kindness and welcome toward the oppressed are never wasted. Our children are watching. Our Latino neighbors are watching. The world is watching. Please do not turn away again. As long as we fight, we slow the advance of their cruelty and sadism. As long as we fight, we expose the greed and corruption that have made torturing children a for-profit industry. As long as we fight, we push back against the gains that this regime has made in their racist agenda. As long as we fight, we have a chance to win. But only as long as we keep fighting. Thank you.
God is watching.